Okay, so today we'll work on one more program. So where we can use joins. Okay, so in the previous session we have created a program. So and we joined EKKO and EKPO tables. What are EKKO and EKPO? EKKO is the purchase order
Purchase
header
order.
table and EKPO is the purchase order item table. Okay, so today we'll see one more time and how we can join few more additional tables for EKKO and EKPO. Okay, and we'll create a report on it. We'll create a report program on it. So first we'll discuss on the requirement. So there will be tables like let's assume this as EKKO. So this is EKKO and so going forward, whatever the examples you provide, like whatever the discussions we do, please refer to some SAP tables. Okay, tables related to sales order, tables related to purchase order. Okay, and what purchase order item table contains? Purchase order number, purchase order item number, and material, Matner, and quantity, net price. For example, NETPR. NETPR means the net price of the purchase order item. Let's say we have some 1001 purchase order number. Company code is 0100. AED is some date when it is created. And we have purchase order number and item number in the 10. Material number is some M80 net price is some 1000. Yeah, for one purchase order number in EKKO, we have more than one purchase order records in EKPO. One header record contains multiple items. Okay, clear? Now, what is the relation between both tables? What is the common field?
Company code.
Hey
EVL.
man,
EVLN,
look at
Eblen,
how company code, man. EBLN is a common field and it is the primary key in both tables. Okay, right? It is the primary key. Oh, shit. Oops. EBLN is the common field between both tables and it is primary key in both tables. Okay, so if you go and check in EKPO, EBLN for EBLN field, what will be the check table? EKKO is the check table for EKPO EBLN. Okay, because you can create purchase order record here when it is already available in EKKO. Okay, if this purchase order number is not available in EKKO, you cannot create that in EKPO. Okay, so EKKO is the header table, purchase order header table, and EKPO is the purchase order item level data. Okay, now so in item level we have different items and each item contains one material and that particular material quantity, what is the quantity they are purchasing, what is the price they are giving. Okay, everything will be in each line item material wise. Okay, so let's assume in this purchase order they are purchasing two materials, that is MAT 100 and MAT 101. So that's why they have created two different items. Okay, 10 20 for the same purchase order. Now tell me what is the relation between EKKO and EKPO for each one record in EKKO? One. How many records you can find in EKPO?
N records.
N. Okay. For each record in EKKO, you can find multiple records. N means let's assume multiple, more than one. Okay. At least one. At least one and more than one in EKPO. Okay. So that is the relation 1 to N. That is the relation 1 to N relation between EKKO and EKPO tables. Now we have a material number right here. Do you know what is MAT 100? Do you know what is MAT 100 means? What is that material?
material number,
That is material number, but what is that material? MAT 100 means what is that? What is that material? Or I can say what is the name of that material? You don't know, right? How can you find name of the material?
Textile.
So here we have 12. We don't know what is 12. 75. We don't know what is 75. That is just a number, right? To know what is that material, where you need to go?
NAT.
Text table, right? Descriptions, material descriptions will be maintained in text table. Go to text table. What is this material? What is this 75?
LPG gas cylinder.
LPG gas. Now I know, right? What is this? Correct? If I provide you 75, you don't know what is 75, right? For better understanding, like for the user, what is that I have to provide? Description, right? Then only he can understand, okay, this material is some LPG cylinder. If you provide the code, he cannot understand what is 75, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, now we have here material number. Now I want to present the material name also in the report for better understanding of the user. Otherwise, I don't know what is MAT 100. I don't know what is MAT 101. Codes are not that important for the end user. They need to know what is that material we are purchasing, right? What is that material we have created purchase order, right? If you give some numbers, it is not easy to identify. Again, they have to check somewhere in the master data to know what is that material, right? For that reason, we'll also display the material description in a different table using, so where it is, where you can find the material description,
Text table.
text table. What is the text table for material number?
And
MAKT. MAKTX means a material text, and obviously we should have language key here, right? Now, how can you join these tables, these three different tables? This is MAKT, text table for material number. Now tell me what is the join condition for material text table?
PO math.
Oh, there is some static noise. So we have to join EKPO material number with MAKT material number, right? These two are the common fields, right, between EKPO and MAKT. Here, Matner in MAKT is a primary key, and in EKPO, Matner is a non-primary key, right? So now we have to join EKPO and MAKT. So what is the join condition here? To get data from all these three different tables. So descriptions will be maintained in text table. So to get the description of this purchase order material, you need to join MAKT also, right? So we can achieve We can achieve selecting data from these three tables using for all entries. And what is the alternative for all entries?
Joins.
Join, right? So if you use for all entries, how many select statements you need to write?
Three select
We
statements.
need to write three different select statements. One is an EKKO, one is an EKPO, and one is an MAKT. First one, first select statement, we have to use EKKO. Select some star from EKKO into some internal table using some where condition, where company code equal to 100. Now you will get all the purchase order records which belongs to company code 100. Now what is my next requirement? I have to select item level records for all these purchase order data, right? I've already selected the header records. Now I need to select header item level data for those selected records. So I have that data is in internal table. That header level data is in internal table. Now I'll write select statement on EKPO. So I'm select start from EKPO into internal table for all entries in which table? Header table. For all entries in header level internal table. And you know before that what you need to do before using for all entries? So there should be at least one record in the internal table. So please mute. There should be at least one record in the internal table, and the internal table, the header level internal table, that means here in this case EKKO should be in sorted order and there should not be any duplicate records. If you observe this, what is the primary key of EKKO?
ELN.
Oh my god, there is some static noise. EKKO, okay. EKKO, what is the primary key? EBLN. EBLN is the primary key. So if you select data from this table, is there any possibility of getting duplicate records when you check it by EBLN? No, right? There is no chance of duplicate records because EBLN is the primary key. So all the EBLN numbers should be unique in the EKKO table. So there is no chance of duplicate records if you check by EBLN. But if you take any other field, for example, company code, we can find duplicates or not.
Duplicates.
You can find duplicates if you go by company code or type any other field. But if you take if you consider only EBLN, you cannot find duplicate records because it's a primary key, right? So only unique purchase order numbers will be maintained, right? For example, I'll show you here. If you check here, all the EBLN numbers are unique, right? No repeated entry. But what about company code? Company codes are repeating, right? For multiple records. So the sorting, when you are using for all entries, the sorting and deletes and duplicates is depends on that scenario, particular scenario, right? For example, what is the common key here between EKKO and EKPO tables?
EBLM.
So EBLN is the common key. So EBLN is the primary key in EKKO. So so is there a chance of duplicate records by EBLN?
No.
No.
No. For example, we have a company code field, right? And we are joining these two tables using company code. Let's assume we have company code is already here, and let's assume this some EBLP is the company code in EKPO. Now, if you are joining both tables, so EKKO bookers and EKPO EBLN, let's assume, okay, let's assume EBLP is as bookers. Now, Can you find duplicate records in the header table or not by company code?
Duplicates.
We can find duplicate records by company code, right? So at that time, we have to sort and delete adjacent duplicate records. That is mandatory because you'll be having duplicate records by company code. If you take EBLN as consideration, there is no duplicate records because it's a primary key. So depends on the scenario. Your internal table records might be duplicate or unique. Okay, whatever the field you are considering. Okay, now here in our example, EBLN is the common key, so it is primary key in both tables. That's why in EKKO you cannot find any duplicates. But again, just follow whatever the rules for all entries we have to follow. You have to check whether there is at least one record in EKKO or not, and it should be in sorted order, and you have to apply delete adds and duplicates. Okay, now, and we have selected data from EKPO using EKKO data as in for all entry statement. Now we got data into some internal table, EKPO internal table. Now what is the next step? Now I have EKPO data with some material number, and I want material text, right? For all the materials selected from EKPO, for all the material records selected from EKPO, then what I have to do? I have to write one more select statement on MAKT. Select star from MAKT. Now what is the header table for MAKT?
EKPO.
Yes, for MAKT now EKPO is the header table. Okay. Now tell me, can we expect duplicate records in EKPO table or not by material number? What is the common field between EKPO and MAKT?
Material number.
Yes, sir.
Material number. So can we expect duplicate records in EKPO or not for by material number? Now the common key is material number, right? Now we have to sort, we have to delete adjacent duplicates by material number. When you are doing that, can we expect duplicate records
No, sir.
when we sort it by material number? So in purchasing department, the user is creating another purchase order. That is purchase order 10002 is creating. He created it already. Now tell me, if you compare by EKPO material numbers, is there any duplicate records or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, right? Because for this first purchase order, they are using material 100. They are purchasing material 100. For example, in the month of January, and that is completed. The transaction is completed. That purchasing is completed. Now after in month of March, once again they need same material, right? What they need to do? They have to create one more purchase order, right?
Yes, sir. It's a material number.
The same material number. After 4 months, they need again same material. They need to purchase with different vendor, maybe with different vendor. The previous vendor is not available and is not able to supply the stock, so that they want to go with different vendor. After 4 months, they can create new purchase order, right?
Yes, sir.
With the same material number. Now the material number is repeating for different purchase orders, correct?
Yes, sir.
So when you sort EKPO material number, when you sort by the records, when you sort all the records by material number, you can find duplicate records or not. repeated entries for same material or not in EKPO?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You'll be having repeated entries for same material number, right? That means when you compare it by material number, you can find duplicate records. Now we should sort internal table by material number, and we should delete adjacent duplicates by comparing which one? What is the comparison field to delete the adjacent duplicates? Material number, right? We have to
Yes, sir.
sort it by material number, and we have to delete adjacent duplicates by material number. Okay. Now we have to use EKPO in the for all entries for the third select statement MAKT. And obviously, since it's a text table, you have to pass sparse in the where condition, right? After selecting three different internal tables, what is the next condition? What is the next thing we have to do to display the output
Loop.
when we are using for all entries?
Loop.
Yeah, we have to merge these three different tables in output into one single internal table, right? Or one final output, right? For that, what we need to do? We need to loop the data, and we have to merge all these three internal table records into single internal table, right? When you are using for all entries. And also now tell me, what is the relation between these two tables, EKPO and MAKT? EKKO and EKPO is one. For each one record in EKKO, you can find multiple records in EKPO, right? Multiple item records. Now tell me, what is the relation between EKPO and MAKT?
PO1 and make it easy.
Here the relation is like this. N. How many records you can find in MAKT for each material number?
1.
1. Here the relation is N to 1. For multiple material numbers in EKPO, you can find one material number in MAKT. So this 100 is repeating here in EKPO. But how many you can find in MAKT for each material number 100?
1.
Only one. When you consider language, you can find multiple, but language is also primary key, right? So when you enter English, how many records you can find? One for each material number in MAKT, correct? But you can find multiple records for same material number in EKPO. So N to 1, EKPO to MAKT is a N to 1 relationship, right? Now tell me which internal table we have to loop when we are using for all entries. Which internal table we have to loop?
GPU.
KPO.
EKPO internal table, because if you observe this, so this contains N relationship with EKKO and EKPO. That means for each record in EKKO, you can find multiple records in EKPO for the same purchase order number. Okay. For one record in MAKT, for material one material record in MAKT, you can find multiple material entries in EKPO. So this is the N table. So we have to loop EKPO internal table. And we have to define one final type structure with all the fields from the three different tables. You have to define one output structure that should contains all the combination of three different tables. And you are going to populate that output structure, final output structure in a loop, and append it to a final internal table and display it in the output. That's what you have to follow when we are using for all entries. Now, when we are using join, write the join condition. Select from EKKO and list out all the required fields in the join itself from the three different tables using table name hyphen, sorry, not hyphen, tilde operator, field name. Now what is the join condition? EKKO tilde operator EVLN equal to EKPO. This is the join condition, right, between both tables, EKKO and EKPO. So when we are applying the inner join or left outer join, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the join condition between these two tables?
Ike piva Maitner, MAKT Math. Right? Like this, you can add multiple tables in the join condition. Okay. For now, we'll see this, these three different tables. So how you want me to proceed? Do you want to first check for all entries program and do you want to replace it with joins, or can I directly create the join condition? If you still have questions or doubts on for all entries, then we'll go first check the for all entries and we'll see how it will work in join. But if you are comfortable in for all entries, I'll directly go to the joins because we have already worked on for all entries. So tell me, can I directly go to the join? Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, as we discussed earlier, before starting any program, first analyze your requirement. Okay. What is my requirement here? I need to display some purchase order report, right? I need to display purchase order report. What is my input? Analyze the selection screen first. That is the first step. What is your input? Shall shall we take date as input? Created date, purchase order created date as input. Okay. So my input is purchase order created date. So that's what I'm going to provide in selection screen. Also, you can take multiple inputs, created date and company code, both. Or in this example, we'll take both created date and company code. Okay. But observe here, I wanted to take date as range of inputs, not only single date. I want to provide range from January 1st to January 31st, from like that. I should be able to provide range of dates, right? Can we achieve that to parameter? Can we provide a range of values or multiple values in the parameter input?
No.
No,
No,
right?
sir.
We cannot. We can provide only single input. Now we'll see how we can pass the range of data. Okay, range of inputs. So now I finalized my selection screen. So in my selection screen, I have date, created date and company code, two inputs. Okay, in which I'll default the company code and user needs to provide created date. That is a mandatory input. Now my selection screen is selected, completed. Now what is the next step? I know what are the tables I need to use. I need to use EKKO, EKPO and MAKT, but do you know the fields what you need to select? So choose the fields what you want to display in the final output from all these three different tables, because each table contains hundreds of fields, right? If you go to EKKO,
fields you can find in EKKO table, some 200 plus fields, but we are not going to use all of them, right? So select the required fields from EKKO table. Similarly, select the required fields from EKPO table. And anyway, in MAKT, you have only material number and material description. Now write your join condition. And you know what are the fields you need to select from 3 different tables, and what is the final output. Okay. Next, write the program. What is the transaction code to create a program?
SC38.
So SC38. So this requirement can be achieved through for all entries or joins, right? Which one is more convenient?
Joins.
Joins are more convenient, right? You can achieve the same functionality with only few lines of code. You don't need to loop, right? And you don't need to hit the database for 3 times, right? Performance wise, here, if you observe, join condition would work better. Okay. Now go to SC38. Create the program. Type of the program is executable program. Save. For now, I am saving it in local package. First, I'll design my selection screen. I'll use these blocks. Selection screen, begin of block B1 with frame, with frame and title. Okay. So let me create text hyphen 001. If you double click, I think it will navigate you to text symbols. It will automatically create your text. Enter created date. Activate it. First define the parameters. What are the inputs required for our current program?
Date and company code. Date datas.
So company code is a single input. I want to take company code as a single input. Okay. I don't want company code as range of values or multiple values. I wanted to provide only single company code in the input. So that I have taken parameter and I'll default some value and I'll default some company code, that is 1050. Okay, and I've defaulted this company code. Do I need to use installation here to default this company code?
No, sir.
It is not required actually, because you are not calculating anything and you are not selecting the data from anywhere. Okay, now what about date? What is the created date in EKKO? AEDAT, right? Created date of purchase document. Correct? Now let's check the data by AEDAT field. Go to the contents. Do we have AEDAT here? No, we don't have. If you can't see here, right? What you need to do, go to settings, fields for selection, and select whatever the field you wanted to display in the filter option in the table level. AEDAT. Check the records. First check the records. What is the data that is available? Created date is 3/9. I'll take this date. Go back. So I wanted to find records created between 30, maybe 01 September to 30 September. Now I wanted to provide data like this 1050. My company code is 1050 and my input for date is range of date, range, right, from low value to high value. I wanted to select data like this. Execute. We have some records, right, for this selection criteria. How many records we have? We have 79 records, right, by company code 1050 and create a date between these two dates. Let's remove the company code and how many records we can find with only date, created date between September 1st to September 30th. How many records are there?
180.
189. If you add company code, 79. So I want to filter, I want to select data by these two fields, that is company code 1050 and date range, whatever the date range provided by the user. Okay, now how can I define this range input? You know how to define single value input by using parameter, but how can you define this range of value input? For that you need to use a select option. What is select option? By using select option you can provide a range of values or range of inputs. Okay, what is select option? Okay, you can provide multiple values in the input. Multiple values in the sense multiple ranges, multiple ranges as input, like from September 1st to September 30th is the one range. From January 1st to January 30th is the another range. Like that, you can provide multiple ranges also. Second, multiple single values. What do you mean by multiple single values? For example, if you take a select option for company code, you can enter company code 1050, 1051, 1052. These are multiple single values, not ranges, right? And you can exclude the data, and you can exclude multiple single values. What do you mean by exclude? 1 and 2, by using 1 and 2 options, multiple ranges and multiple single values, what you are saying, hey, please select the data whatever I have provided in the input. Please select this data which is matching with my date ranges. What do you mean by exclude? Third and fourth option, by entering the values, range of values, you are saying that, hey, select the data except whatever I have provided in the input. Okay, so we are restricting the data which you have entered by using exclude. What is the exclude option? To select the data other than whatever we entered in the selection screen, right? First two are include. Select the data whatever I have entered in the inputs. 3 and 4 are don't select whatever the data, whatever the values I have entered in the input. That is 3 and 4. So by using select options, you can provide a range of inputs, multiple values as input. So you can provide multiple ranges or multiple single values. Multiple ranges are like this. 100 is the lower value, to 200 is the upper value. Like that, you can provide multiple ranges, 300 to 400. Or similarly, you can provide any number of ranges. This is equal to select the data which is equal to these ranges, which is in between these ranges. Multiple single values means equal to 100, 101, 102, 105 or 201. What you are saying here? What you are saying here? You are in the second option. Hey, select only the specific values 100, 101, 102, 105 and 101. Right? I am providing multiple single values. But what is the first option? In the first option, you are saying select data between these ranges 100 to 200 and 300 to 400. So whatever the records available between this range, it will select that. Now go to third option. What is this third option? Third option is not equal to 100 to 200, 300 to 400. Not equal to 100, 101, 102, 105, 201. So here, by using this exclude, how you are providing the input? You are providing the inputs that you don't want to select. Okay. Hey, please select all the data except the data which I have entered here. That is this range. Please exclude this range from the data selection. Please exclude these records from the data selection. You are saying like that when you are using exclude. Okay. Clear? Like blocking. In WhatsApp, you are going to block some numbers, right? By exclude, you are blocking, you are specifying those blocked records. I don't want this anymore. Okay? Or the records which is in this range, I don't want. Clear? So for select option, we'll be having a structure. We'll be having a select option structure. What is the select option structure? Fields. What are the fields in select option structure?
High,
Low,
option, low, high.
high, option, sign. So these are the fields in select option structure. Okay, clear? We have four fields: low, high, option, sign. What is low here? Low means lower range, lower value. High means, for example, higher value. This is range. Option means, do you want to select it as range or
Between or equal.
equal to? That is between or equal to. Equal to we use only for lower range values. Lower range with multiple single values. Second option, right? For that we use equal to. Okay. For the first one, what we use? Ranges. For ranges we use between, BT. Okay. For multiple single values we use equal to, not between, because it's not a range. Sign,
Include, exclude.
include, exclude. What do you mean by include? Include is for first two options. Select whatever the inputs I have provided. Select only that data. Exclude means third and fourth. Hey, don't select the data whatever I provided in the input. Right? Include and exclude. Include means select whatever entered. Exclude means don't select whatever entered. This is the select option structure. Right? And at the end, what you need to use? Append. For example, this is how we can pass the default values. See, we use this concept to pass the default values of the selection screen. Okay. Usually, if you don't want to pass any default values, you don't need to use it. But how can you pass default values to the selection screen? Sorry, select option like this. You have to populate low, you have to populate high, you have to populate option, you have to populate sign, and you have to append it. So what are the fields of the select option structure? Select option structure: low, high, option, sign. This is very, very, very important interview question also. Okay, clear? Now, how to define a select option? First, there are multiple options, but I'll tell you one better options to follow. First, define one variable. For example, what is the select option we are defining? Date, right? Uh, I'll slightly change my naming convention for this. Okay, I'll use some s underscore or some lv underscore aedat type. What is the data element for aedat? This is the one, right? ERDAT. mmpur underscore erdat. This is the data element for created date, date. Now how to define the select option? Select option syntax is select options. I'll use different naming convention here. SO means I can say that it's a select option. SO underscore AEDAT for LV underscore AEDAT. This is the syntax to define a select option. For you have to use for the variable which you have defined here. Okay. First define a variable and use that define variable in here. And you have different additions like no intervals. Okay. We'll see that one by one. Now let's go to the program. Is everyone clear on this? Is everyone clear on the select options? Okay. Now let's go to the program. So I've already defined my parameter with the default input. So this is my parameter. Let's define the select option also. First define one variable data lv underscore aedat type. What is the next step? In the frame, select option, select hyphen options so underscore aedat for lv underscore aedat. So these naming conventions, right? These are depends on your project. Whatever the project you are working on, they might recommend different naming conventions to use. Okay, you have to follow instead of lv. In some projects, they may use like this s underscore this variable name. Okay, so depends on your project requirement. These naming conventions might be slightly different. The process is same. Okay. Now I've defined the select option. Check the syntax. Activate it. Execute. So this is the select option. You can provide the lower value and upper value, and you can select the data in between those two values. Okay. This is low. This is high. Click on this. Okay. Click on this. Select this option. What you can find here? Select single values. Here you can provide required values, whatever the values required, not the range. Okay. If you don't want the range, but you know what are the multiple records you want to select, just enter here. Okay. So sorry, this is a date, right? Yeah. You have to enter date here. Some date, multiple dates. You can provide multiple date values, selected date values, not the range, right? You can provide selected date values here. So go to select range. What you can provide here? Lower limit and upper limit. 0, 1, like that. You can provide multiple ranges. Okay. Like that, you can provide multiple ranges as input. So you're going to select data in between now these multiple ranges. Okay. Now we have first two options are clear, right? Go to the third option, exclude. Exclude single values. I've already explained you, right? Whatever the values you want to restrict, Whatever the values you don't want to select, maintain those values here. Okay, these are multiple single values, correct? Now exclude ranges. Similarly, sorry, again it's a date field. Similarly, exclude ranges also. If you want to restrict records from any specific range of dates, you need to mention those ranges here. This is like not equal to, not equal to these ranges, right? Provide multiple ranges so that whatever the records in between, these multiple ranges will be excluded from the data selection. Okay, so first two are for include, next two are for exclude. Clear? By using select option, you can achieve all these functionalities. Also, in some cases, business users asked us to provide an option to enter multiple values but not ranges. But they want to enter multiple values but not in ranges. They don't want to go by range because it may select huge data. So they don't want ranges, but they need an option to enter multiple values. Then what we can do? We can define select option with no, no intervals. Add this addition to the select option, that is no intervals. Activate and check how this no intervals will work. Can you find a range here?
No.
No. But still you can enter multiple values, multiple single values. Range is not available. Okay. You can enter multiple single values. Range you cannot enter here. Okay. This is available for multiple single values. Clear? When you use no intervals, still you can enter multiple dates, specific values, but not the ranges. Is everyone clear? I'm removing for now no intervals. Is everyone clear on select options? Start of selection. Now select the data. Now do I need to pass any initial values, default values?
No.
That is optional. That is as per your requirement, as per your program requirement. Let's go to the join. Or okay. So I told you like this date is mandatory, right? Yes, what we need to validate it. If is initial, if select option is initial, then raise error message. Don't use hard coded messages. I told you, right? Use text symbol. Okay. Or just define it type E. Double click on this and create this text symbol. Enter, oh, sorry, enter date. Okay. So we have added the validation. Let's add the join condition or select business logic, actual business logic in start of selection. You can also validate company code if you want. Okay. You know how to validate the company code? So let's say Just observe, this is very important, just observe. So anyway, I've defaulted 1050, but user can change it. User can enter any value, right? Before executing that, we have to validate that company code. How to validate the company code? How do you know that this 1050 or whatever the value entered by the user is a valid value or not? How do you know that? How can you validate the company code value? How do you know that is it a valid company code or not? How to do that validation? Tell me. How to validate the company code value? So the user entered something like this. User entered something like this. And how do you know that this is a valid value or not?
Foreign key relationship.
Sorry, what is it?
Foreign key.
Yes. We have to compare it against a check table. This value, okay? We have to check that value, is it available in the check table or not, right? What is the check table for company code? We have to check in the database table, is this value available in master data or not? Then only we can say this company code is a valid company code. I've clearly explained different types of validations when we are discussing on get selection screen event. The first type of validation is checking at least there is some value or not. What is the next level validation? If there is a value, and is it a valid value or not? We have to check. How can we check that? By checking against check table, right? Master data. What is the check table for sorry, Bookers company code? What is the text? What is the check table for company code?
E00.
E001. So you need to write a select statement. If P underscore Bookers first level validation is not initial, then we'll go to the select statement. Otherwise, why should we execute the select statement if there is no value? If user entered something only, then we'll go for next level validation. Else, else means if user did not enter anything. Not initial. Yeah, here I am taking not initial. Not initial means select the data from database. Tell me the statement. Tell me the statement to select company code data from database table. Whatever the company code entered by the user. T001 is the table, master table for company code. So here you have company code, right? Company code is the primary key. Now tell me how to validate company code field from table. Company code value from the check table or master table. Select single, because we have single input, right? Parameter is a single input, right? At a time we can enter only one company code. Tell me. Select single. We need only one field. We just need only one field. This is just for validation. Select single bookers from T001 into, for example, variable. Some variable is enough. Where bookers equal to P underscore, right? Next, if size sub RC equal to 0, What does that mean? Equal to 0 means what?
Success.
If it is having
Valid.
one.
Equal to 0 means valid. Is not equal to 0. If it is not equal to 0, that
Error.
means whatever the company code entered by you is not available in the table, check table. So it is not a valid company code. Okay? Raise a error message. Okay? Here we are checking the first level validation. We are checking there is at least some value or not. If there is a value, if it is not initial, then we are checking is that value is a valid value or not. Right? Enter valid company code. I'll add one more message. Enter company code. What is the difference between both messages? Message number 3 and 4. Here I am saying enter valid company code, and next I am saying enter company code. Fourth message is text symbol 4 is for if there is no value in the parameter. If there is a value and if it is not a valid value, I'll display this third message. Okay. So if p underscore bookers is not initial, then execute the select statement, and if it is not equal to, display the error message. Come to the else part. This means is initial means there is no value. There is no value entered by the user. I'll display the other error message. Okay. Is everyone clear of the validations? So it is clear that you are not practicing well. If you have practiced already, you should have tell me. Okay.
Into table.
Into what is missing? Into
Table 23 length.
into table, right? Is that what missing here? Into table. Okay. Is it correct? Is it correct or not?
Yes.
Yes. Are we selecting data into internal table? Are we using select statement? We're just selecting data into single variable, a single record. Do we need to use table here when we are selecting data into work area or variable? We don't need. We use table only for internal table. Again, one more best example for that you guys are not practicing. For select single, you don't need to use a table. Select single is for single record. It's not for internal table. You can use work area or variable. Correct? Is everyone clear at least now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, write your business logic. Select what are the fields you want to select from EKKO. I want to select purchase order number. I want to select purchase order number, company code, and created date. Select EKKO, EBLN, EKKO, glucose EKKO KO AEDAT, and from EKPO, see whatever the fields you want, just list out those fields. Okay, from EKPO I want to select EBLN, material number, EBLP means item number, material number, and I'll select the quantity and price also. Let me find those fields. Purchase order quantity MENGE, and the unit quantity unit, is it in kgs, liters? That is this MEINS. And also price, net price. What is the net price field? I think this NATPR. Okay, these fields are enough for now. From EKKO, EKPO, and MAKT, what is the data I need from MAKT? What is the data I need from MAKT? Material text, right?
Yes, sir.
I need material text. MAKT, what is the field name?
MAKTX.
MAKTX. Yeah, that's it. From EKKO, tell me the state syntax. Inner join. Which table I have to join?
EKPO.
EKPO, right? We need to join EKKO and EKPO. What is the join condition? EKKO EBLN equal to EKPO EBLN. EKPO on. After on, you need to provide the join condition. Mm. First two tables join is completed. Next, we have to join EKPO and MAKT to get the material text, right? Next, inner join MAKT on EKPO MA Matner equal to MAKT Matner, right? Correct? Into table, because here we are selecting multiple records, right? We need to take internal table. For example, some IT underscore PO data. Next, where, observe carefully, bookers equal to parameter, user input. We have to use table name, tilde operator, bookers. Okay. And what is the next input we are taking in the selection screen?
Date.
AEDAT. Created date equal to, which one we have to use?
Yes, sir.
This one, select option, right? For AEDAT we are using select option, right? For this also you have to use at the rate. But one difference you have to identify here. One different you have to remember. You should not use equal to. You should use in for select options, right? When you are using select options in the where condition, what you need to use? You need to use in, not equal to. Okay? Please observe that. Whenever you are using select option, this should be in, not equal to. Is everyone clear? That's it. Check the syntax. No syntax errors. Let's try equal to here. It won't accept equal to. Okay. You have to use in. What next? If and if it underscore pure data. That's it. Do you have any syntax errors? Observe the select statement. Is it correct? Or is there anything we need to add? Just observe the select statement one more time and tell me if you are missing anything.
language key.
Yes. We have to use language key because we are using a text table, right? MAKT. Which one? How to add language key?
So,
MAKT tilde operator because it's a join. Spras equal to S5 hyphen. Okay.
Where?
That's it. Clear? Now we have to add selection text. I forgot to add selection text. Add the selection text. Go to selection text. Company code. Created date. Execute. Now let the company code same and I'll provide some dates between September 1st to September 30th. I want to display sales orders created between September 1st to September 30th for this company code. Execute. I got the data right. Whatever the purchase orders created between September 1st to September 30th with this company code. Yes. So first field is from EKKO, second field is also from EKKO, third is also from EKKO, fourth field from EKPO, fifth field from EKPO. So next three fields also from EKKO. Last field is from MAKT. Now let's check in the debug mode how this is working. Keep a breakpoint at selection screen first, and also I'll keep one more breakpoint on start of selection. Execute. Now enter the data. Now I've entered, right? Now I am saving it as a variant so that I don't need to enter again and again whenever I execute the program. Provide the variant name, test data. Save it. Now go back and execute the program again. Now you don't need to enter manually. Go to here, click on here, select the variant. So your inputs will be automatically populated. Okay. So that's what the use of variant. So click on execute. Now at selection screen event is executing. double click on the SO underscore AEDAT. Double click on this. So we are not populating anything. It is automatically populated. What is the sign it is populated?
include,
Sign is include. Okay. And option
between,
low, lower value, and high, higher value. Right? Include, sign is include, option is between, and lower value and upper value. P underscore bookers, there is some value in P underscore bookers, and we are validating against the table. If sub RC not equal to 0, it is entering into the select statement. What is the sub RC value? After executing the select statement, what is the sub RC? 0. So
0,
that means it is a valid company code. This is available in T001. So no error message. Going to the business logic. Now my controller is at business logic. Start of selection. F5. What is the sub RC? After
0.
executing, so it is able to select some records. How many records? S5 hyphen D, B, C, and T. This is the system variable, right? How many records? It is selected
79.
79 records. So SY DB count is the system variable which can store number of records selected from the database, right? Now click on F8. It will display the output. Now let's try different thing. Execute it. So you can select the variant, or you can also enter here. Select the variant. Now double click on this. Double click on this. Double click on this first field. What I am selecting? Exclude. Click on continue. Click on continue. What it is? Exclude. So what does it means? I want the records which are not created between these two dates. Okay? I want all the records which are not created between September 1st to September 30th. I want to see rest of the records. That's what exclude means. Execute it. Go to the select option, structure, double click. What is the sign?
E exclude.
E means exclude between these two date ranges. So anyway, company code is valid. So select statement is executed in the business logic. What is the DB count? What is the DB count?
86.
86. So 86 records are created between the date which you have provided. Sorry, 86 records are created other than September. Okay, in different months other than September. So these are the records which are created in the month of not created in the month of September 1st to 30th. Can you find any date in September month here? So all these records are created outside of September. Okay, not in September 1st to 30th. Excluded because we have excluded these dates. Clear? So all the records are some records are in October, some records are in November, but it is not selected any record created in September. Correct? So select options are very useful. Is everyone clear on this? Is everyone
Yes.
clear?
Yes.
Okay, so every time when I execute the program, I need to enter some dates, right? Let's say my user asked me, my business user or my functional consultant asked me, so what is his requirement? If I execute today, he wanted to auto populate 10 days previous date in the lower value and the current date in the upper value. What is my requirement? 10 days previous value should be automatically populated in lower value and the current date in upper limit. He wanted to see that. If I execute today, what is his requirement? He wanted to see around the 16th here. 16th September to 26th September. That means current date minus 10. He want to see in low and he want to see the current date in high. So we have these records created between 16th September to 26th September. But how can you display as a default values? Can we use default statement here for select options? That won't work. So to populate default values, what you need to do? You need to use initialization event. So underscore AEDAT, right? Hyphen. What is the sign? Equal to include I. Option. What is the option? So my user wants range of inputs. Option equal to between. What is the lower value?
16.
What is the lower value? What is my requirement? I want to populate 10 days previous date from today. That means current date minus 10, right? In lower limit. How can you pass that? Sy hyphen datum is current date, right? Current system date minus 10.
10.
Similarly, for higher high, I want to provide current date, today's date.
System name.
Then I need to use, don't forget to use append statement. Append
UMSM.
so underscore AEDAT. That's it. Okay, clear? You're clear? This is how you can pass default values to the select options. It is also a very important interview question. Even in some interviews, they'll ask they'll ask you to write this syntax. They'll ask you to write this syntax to populate default values to the select options. What you need to write? This one. Okay. Field might be different. Here we are taking date, but in different scenarios, we might take company codes or any other values. But the syntax is same.
Sir, 18th line datum.
Data. Okay. Activate. Now check the selection screen. It is automatically populated or not? 16th September. Higher value 26th September. Correct? Right? Depends on your requirement. You can populate the values. Here my requirement is my user asking to automatically display 10 days previous date in the lower value and current date in the upper value. Right? Now execute it. So this is the data which is created between those two date ranges. If user want a different selection, he can just change it, right? And also apart from this, he wanted to display different range. Click on here, add one more range, select range. add one more range here, that is 0 1 0 1 2022 to 30 0 1 2022. Like that, he can check data for multiple ranges. Execute this. Now execute. Now you can observe this special symbol here. Looks like there is no records created in month of January. Let me try changing the range to a different selection. I'll change it to 10th October. Execute. Now I got different values, right? More values. Records created in October and September. Like that, you can provide multiple ranges here. Okay. Or if you want to know, if you want to select records created on a specific date, not on the ranges, what you need to do? Let's take one date, 10th, 6th October. Remove this, click on here, or maybe enter 6th October, 06 10 2022, and you can, if you want to provide more dates, provide like this 07 10 2022, like that. These are all single values. Execute. Right, these are all created on a specific date. If you see let me keep a breakpoint here, not here. Let remove this. So enter the single values 07 09 and execute. What will be the select option now? Sign is include. What is option?
Equals.
Option
Equal.
is equal to. Now how many records you can find in this select option? We have provided multiple single values, right? How many records are there in select option structure?
3.
3 records,
Records.
like this. Okay. If you provide multiple ranges also, you can find multiple records, each record for one range. Okay, like this. Clear? And later, after some time, user asked me to add one more filter criteria, that is material number. He wanted to filter data by material number also, along with the created date and company code. What we need to do? Create one more variable, and he want that input option as select option for material number. LV underscore Matner. Define one more select option, comma, SO underscore Matner for which one? LV underscore
Matter.
Matner. Now use this select option in your select statement, and what is the condition? Tell me. From which table we need to filter?
EKKO.
EKPO. Material number is in EKPO, not in EKKO. Right? I want to filter item level records by material number. EKPO Matner in what is that? What we need to write?
SO.
SO underscore
Matter.
Matner. Okay, clear?
Madness spelling
Like
R-I-C.
Magner.
Okay.
In eight,
So
in,
MATNR. Okay. Okay.
or
Yeah.
in
Okay.
18.
Activate. So create selection text for Matner also. Selection text. Material. My program is inactive. Let's activate this. Execute. Now I'll provide some MAT1 as my material number. 2 some MAT10. Okay. Now execute. No records in this selection criteria. Looks like, let me change the date. Let me change it to October. 16th October to 26th December. Execute. So there are 4 records in that selection criteria. So those records are created on December 9th and 7th with that material number MAT1. Clear? Is everyone clear? So I'll tell you one important difference between select option and parameter. What are the difference between select options and parameter? In parameter you can enter only single input. That but in select options you can provide range of values as input, right? If you don't enter anything in the select option, what it will do? There is a very important difference. If you don't enter anything in the select option, what it will do? It will select all the
We
records.
fetch all that data.
It will consider, okay, hey, select all the records from the table. That's why you should be very careful when defining the select options. You should restrict the users to enter only specific range. If user doesn't enter anything, it's going to select all the data from the table. But what about parameter? If you don't enter in the parameter, what it will do? Parameter is different. It will check for that empty space. It will select the records where company code is empty, right? It will select only the records where company code value is empty in the table. If you don't enter anything in the company code parameter. But if you don't enter anything in the select option, it will consider,
All
hey,
that.
select all the records. But parameter, exact value, whatever you entered here, that exact value should be match. If you don't enter anything, there should not be anything in the table field. Only it will select that value, that record. Okay, clear? If you don't enter anything, it will select only the records where Booker's company code field is empty, blank. Okay, that's very important difference you have to identify. Okay, if you don't enter anything, it will select all the records by this company code. Execute. Yeah, because I have added a validation, right, on created date. That's why it is showing that error. Let me add some value. Now it will select all the materials. It's not filtering the materials, right? It is selecting the materials with different it is selecting the records with different materials also, because I did not enter anything. If select option is blank, that means everything. Okay, parameter means specific value, whatever the value you enter in parameter. That is a very important difference. Is everyone clear on this program? Yes. And the one last thing, in by default, if you user by default, if they want to see multiple ranges, what you need to do, we need to use one more append. If they want multiple ranges, you have to enter like this. Some range, okay? Okay. You have to add one more append to add multiple ranges. Now check the output. Click on this. It is automatically populate two different ranges, right? Clear? It is automatically populate two different ranges. For that multiple values, you have to append like this in initialization. Is everyone clear? So it's a very long class today. So I hope you guys have understood this. This is very, very important. Okay. If you have any questions, please let me know. That's it for today. I'll send you the important points about today's class and the interview questions. Okay.